Hi guys, good afternoon and welcome back. So you guys know the other day I actually did a live video on cuckold men. And it was a lot of discussion that happened as a result of this video, and it's still going on my YouTube channel, and I'm kind of surprised that the video went viral. But the reason why I'm doing this video is because I actually received an inbox message, very interesting inbox message in response to that video, Cuckold Men. And I'm like kind of blown away. I'm like surprised, first of all, by the title of the message, which I used the same title for this video, Submissive Daddy Advice. I kind of got confused. I'm thinking like, okay, you are a submissive, but you're a daddy. Usually daddies within the world of BDSM, I mean, I have to give you guys a little backstory, but within the world of BDSM, daddies are usually dominant men and submissives are usually baby girls, to the daddy. And so he titles the email, the message, Submissive Daddy Advice. He's looking for advice. So I'm going to read you guys what he said, and feel free to chime in. Feel free to share your thoughts, comments, questions in reply to this video. I'm just really excited because, I like to talk about things that are passionate, that I feel passionate about, that I'm interested in, and it's just amazing to see when other people also express that same interest, from many different perspectives. So this is going to be an interactive discussion. We're going to have fun with this, you guys. And I'm also going to share some perspectives on my own personal life, things that I have experienced, that I have went through, that I observed, just about the lifestyle in general. So let's get to it. Hi Tony, and welcome to the video. So he says, question for you. I could use some advice. And by the way, I'm not going to reveal like the person's name or any identifying information, so that's going to be kept confidential. He says, I could use some advice. I'm in a relationship with a snobby black girl where I'm basically her pay pig. She's someone who I used to know in person, but now we just Snapchat. She is 26. She was shy and awkward at first. Now she is becoming a queen. She rejects tons of guys, including me 2 years ago, but won't admit it. So I'm attracted to her superiority. Anyway, she initially shot my idea down of me paying her for viewing selfies, talking to her, but when she was in a playful mood, she eventually let me start paying her. And I'm like, oh, okay, interesting. I'm trying to get her to dog me out more, but she just basically says, okay, like it's a pat on my head, then moves on and is basically nice to me. I'm trying to get her to start humiliating me. Is there a way to be smooth about it, getting her to treat me gradually worse? So we're going to break this email down. He says, and she knows I masturbated to her pic. Once I admitted it and she said TMI. She's so sly about how she controls guys as if it's so effortless for her. That is boring. Kind of sounds like a contradiction. If something is effortless, they do it without thinking. It's like second nature. But it's boring. So maybe I think he's trying to say that she doesn't put much effort into her attempt to control him. She's just like nonchalant about it, which it makes it boring for him. So it's like this email is a nice little paragraph that he wrote to me the other day in response to my video I did on cuckold men. It's pretty loaded with information. Now, being that he talks about being in a relationship with this snobby black girl, I'm assuming that he is not black. He is perhaps white. In the video, the cuckold video that I made the other day, I actually talked about like a little bit interracial relationships. And so I think that's what kind of stuck out to him. That's what resonated with him. And he spoke on his own personal relationship. Now, he says that they don't communicate hardly anymore. They just talk via Snapchat. But they were in a relationship. So I'm just like, okay, are y'all talking or are y'all not talking? And thank you guys for tuning in. And thank you guys for the compliments. This is just some African garb that I got from a flea market in my neighborhood where I live. So I appreciate you guys for complimenting me on that. But I kind of want to stay focused, you guys. And that was my neighbor that just came in. So hopefully we can get through this video without any interruptions. All right, so interesting that she's a snobby black girl, right? And he says that he likes the superiority that she exudes over him. He's submissive. Submissives like when a person can dominate them. But what kind of got me was that he's talking about selfies, right? And I'm wondering what kind of selfies is he asking of her, right? Paying, like he's offering to pay for her to take selfies or viewing selfies. What kind of selfies are these? Is this like sexual stuff? I mean, because if it's just a regular selfie, why are you paying? Or perhaps you get satisfaction, because there's so many different nuances to BDSM, and some people actually, like certain activities get people off. They turn people on, right? So maybe he gets off by being a pay pig. That's like the first thing that he said. He's in a relationship with a snobby black girl who's a pay pig. It sounds like a long distance relationship now you think about it. Because she's like, she rejects tons of guys, including me 2 years ago. And then now he's saying now she's becoming, no, but now we just Snapchat. So they only talk like via online communication on Snapchat. Like, why not in person? He doesn't like mention anything that they do in person. It's more like an online DS relationship, dominant submissive relationship between this guy who is her pay pig. And I'm thinking, oh, and I mean, it's not something that's foreign to me, because I've seen guys who they get off on that. Like some guys actually like to be taken advantage of financially by a woman. It's not all about sex, you guys. I be trying to like get that to you guys' head over and over again. Everything isn't always about sex, you know. Yes, sex is, you know, titillating, it's exciting, it's sensual. But there are other things that turn people on, you know. And for you guys who are in the BDSM lifestyle or practice BDSM, feel free to enlighten us and give us your perspective. Definitely not always about sex. So yes, I've come across guys who actually have made the proposition to me to allow them to pay me, right? And it's not paying for sex. It's just allowing me to take advantage of them financially. Like they'll give me their card, their debit card, and or credit card or whatever, you know, way of paying, and I can just run it up, basically. Like I can just buy anything I want. They like to be taken advantage of financially, and it makes you wonder, like, what is it? Like, why? Why does a person like that? But I had to turn it down. I've gotten several offers. I'm just like, no. It seems like it's a little bit too risky to be in that kind of relationship, just thinking about the implications for that, you know, spending someone's money. Because eventually it's like they're kind of buying you in a way, right? But when they give you permission, it's just like, okay, well, they gave you permission to do it, you know, so it's not necessarily like you're doing it against their will or behind their back. They say, here's my debit card. I want you to take advantage of me. I want you to use my whole paycheck, right? So that can be pretty interesting. And honestly, when you think about it, a lot of men are in relationships like that now, presently. They are in relationships where, I wouldn't say it's financial abuse, but there is a certain degree of control given to one partner over the other when it comes to the finances. And a lot of times it's the women, you know, who control the finances. Honestly, I've been in a relationship like that, and it worked, you know. It was a mutual consensual agreement where he worked, he brought in the money, you know, but his paycheck went to my bank account. It was kind of like a shared account, but I had more control over it. And I was the one who was responsible for making sure that the bills were paid and controlling and managing the income and the expenses, you know. It was easy for me. Some guys are okay with that. Some guys not so okay with that. They want to be in control of the money that they make. It just all depends on the people that's involved, right? As long as it's consensual, okay with that. Ibrahim, what's going on, man? You say, well, I love African men. Of course I love African men. Okay, so speaking of that, This, like, I feel very passionate about this. I have a lot to say about this topic, you guys, because it hits very close to home to me, you know. I don't talk about everything in my life, but there's some things that I do talk about. And so we're talking about this email that I received the other day in response to a video I made on Cuckold Men. And he wants some advice, submissive daddy advice. Abraham, you are distracting me from doing my video, okay? Will I date outside my race? That's a whole nother video topic, and I think I already talked about that before. Go find my video on interracial dating, and you guys, you'll get the answer to that question. So I find it pretty interesting. I'm going to address his question because I get the gist of what he's saying. He's saying so many words, but there's a certain thing that he's trying to get at. And as a submissive myself, I can identify with the underlying need that he has, because he says it, okay, he wants to be treated worse. It's not necessarily worse. And for the person who made this video, who sent me this email, right? Define what is worse, because this is important. In terms of relationships, people have all these requests, they have needs, but if you aren't in agreement with your partner does not understand what it is that you need, how can he give you what you need? I mean, just looking at how broad you were in this email about you have a desire to be treated gradually worse. What exactly does that mean? I mean, sometimes some submissives and people who are masochists, because usually they go side by side. So if a person is submissive, chances are they have some masochistic traits within them, right? And if you are dominant, you usually have some sadistic traits. So some masochists, when they talk about being treated bad, so to speak, in terms of societal perspective of how bad is defined, it could be in terms of physical punishment, you know, in terms of getting discipline, like spankings. It can be humiliated, being put in a corner, being humiliated in public. So what exactly do you mean? The writer of this message, this note that you sent me to my inbox, what exactly do you mean when you say treat gradually worse? You said, I'm trying to get her to start humiliating me. Is there a way to be smooth about getting her to treat me gradually worse? Why you gotta be smooth about it? It seems, I mean, apparently there's already an established power dynamic here. You can just tell in the way he wrote this message. You can tell that he's submissive. Just look at the way, I mean, nothing about anything he said in this message indicates that he has any kind of dominant traits. Like, it's completely submissive language that he's using. And that's the thing. I feel like in the beginning of any relationship, especially a BDSM, dominant submissive relationship, like, there are rules, there are guidelines that should be established in the beginning. These are things that should be talked about from day one. From day one, so that people have an understanding of what it is that they need in the relationship. You know, that you minimize the confusion in a relationship when you discuss these things from day one. I mean, how is it 2 years later down the road? I'm assuming that you guys have been talking for 2 years. How is it that 2 years down the road you still are having issues? Because it sounds like to me, perhaps this black snobby black girl may only want to use you for your money. Maybe that's the only thing that you can offer to her. And here you are trying to get your needs met and trying to establish a sense of security in the relationship, and she's not giving it to you. And it's almost like reinforcing the connection that you have, right? Because you're obviously dependent upon her to treat you like shit, and then she's not meeting your needs. So inadvertently, she's treating you like shit. Maybe not purposely, but it's happening. And so it's reinforcing the whole connection that you guys have. Like, you're kind of codependent upon each other. But is that really serving you? Because it sounds like you are incomplete still. You want her to do something. She's not giving you something that you want. Her love for you is not quite sufficient enough. Even though she's dismissing what it is that you need, But I'm wondering, have you ever communicated to her and asked? Perhaps you have, because you asked, is there a more smooth way? So it seems like you already attempted a way to get your needs met, and it's not happening. What else you say? And anyway, she initially shot my idea down of me paying her for viewing selfies talking to her. But when she was in a playful mood, she eventually let me start paying her. That's what I'm really curious about. Like, what kind of selfies are these? Are these naked pictures? She shot your idea down initially, so she rejected you initially. She said she wasn't going to send you these, and then I guess her mood got softened a bit, and then she agreed for you to start paying her for her selfies. Naked. We'll just say naked. Because why would she? You don't have to pay anybody for people. As many selfies people got online, right? Like, people take thousands of selfies in a month. Why is she paying? There's so many selfies online. You don't have to pay for that. So I'm curious to know, what kind of selfies are these? I guess it's confidential information because, the stigma surrounding sending out nude pictures, and especially getting paid for it, may be considered a form of pornography. But whatever, we're adults. You're trying to get her to dog you out more. She just basically says, okay, like it's a pat on my head, like a little doggy. Okay. Don't you like that though? You're sticking around for a reason, right? Is there a way to be smooth about it? Say she's sly and she controls guys. So when you say she controls guys, how do you know this? Have you been observing her relationships with other men? So you just one of the men that she's engaged with. Like, you just maybe the side dude, right? Like, you're not the main guy. Because you're talking about she controls guys. You observe her. Like, I'm wondering, who is this woman? Is she a vlogger? Like, what is this about? Interesting question. But in a nutshell, as a submissive myself, I know it can be very difficult to get your needs met because some people just don't get it. Like, you can say, I'm a submissive man. I like to be told what to do. I like to be taken advantage of financially. I like to be treated harshly and humiliated. But it may not resonate with most people because naturally most people aren't going to do that to you. And it's funny, it's ironic because when you ask someone to do that to you, they don't do it. But in many situations, people find themselves mistreating other people, right? Without you even having to ask. So I think that's the irony in this whole sadism, masochism thing. Because people are naturally sadists. Like, people have a bit of sadistic qualities within them naturally that you don't have to ask for. People can just be mean and be assholes, depending on their mood or whatever is happening in their life at that time. People just mistreat other people. People are selfish. People take advantage of other people. And so I think sometimes that comes naturally. But when you bring it to a person's awareness, their cognitive awareness, where they're actually thinking about doing it, right? And you're asking them to do something that society looks at as bad, is looked down upon when a person mistreats someone, and you're actually asking them. When you're asking them, you're making them aware of it, right? Of course they're not going to do it because they're like, wait a minute, I'm not a bad person. And they associate those qualities, the things that you're asking her to do, to humiliate you, right? To take advantage of you financially. Those things are looked down upon in our society, no one wants to be associated with anything bad. They want to be seen as a bad person. They want to be seen as a good person, so to speak. Unless, of course, they own it. So, saying that, it makes me wonder, this woman who is a snobby black girl doesn't sound like she's necessarily dominant. Like, does she identify herself? Because that matters, how much a person identifies with it. When you identify with a certain characteristic or identity, you own it, right? You own that. You embrace it, you know? Like, with me being submissive, I identify with it and I own that, which means people can say all kind of other shit. They talk, you know? I've had all kind of things said to me about, oh, why are you submissive? Why are you a masochist? Why do you like pain? Why do you like to be treated? I don't care. That's what I am. You know, so I embrace that. And when you embrace who you are, it's easier for you to live in that truth. It's easier for you to walk in that truth. This snobby black girl, she probably has not quite embraced that part of who she is. You know, it's like she's being that way, but she's being that way because that's what she needs. But she's not necessarily fully walked into that truth. She's not living that truth, you know. And it seems like you, the person who sent me this question, this inbox, you need it. It seems like you are more solidified in your identity, where you know who you are, you know what you need. And it's unfair for a person who has reached the level of identity that you have as being a submissive, that you have to sell yourself short to someone who isn't meeting your needs. It's like, yeah, she's doing it halfway because she's inadvertently kind of being dismissive towards you, and you get turned on by that. You get turned on by being mistreated, but it's not purposeful behavior. It's different. I think you'll feel a deeper sense of satisfaction, a deeper sense of security and of love if you are with a woman who can purposefully do that, mindfully do that, you know? Like you say, effort. She's just effortlessly doing it, meaning that she don't even probably be aware that she's doing it. She's just doing it, right? And she's not doing it with the intent. See, there's a difference. We can all do different things in relationships, and the other person may get a kick out of it. But if it's not intentionally, right? She didn't necessarily intend to make you feel worse or bad, you know, as you say. She's just doing it. And it's not as powerful, I think, when a person does it effortlessly, like you say. It's boring, right? She's not putting much work into it, you know? But when you can find a woman who knows what you need and is willing to deliver that, is willing to make a conscious decision to say, you know what, I know he likes this. Let me put some effort into it. Let me even go out my way because this is how much I want to please him. That's a different thing. Submissives have needs. And speaking of that, especially as myself as a submissive, like, dude, I totally get it. When and it's frustrating because you're just like, oh, why can't a person just give me what I need? Why can't she just do this? Like, you know, I'm telling you this and you're not delivering. It's not in her nature, man. She's the only part that's probably comfortable for her is using your money, spending your money. Outside of that, that's not her thing. And I think it's unrealistic and it's kind of unfair to try to make someone fill the role that you want them to be if that's not naturally who they are or naturally what they desire to be or who they desire to be. That's not who she is. So you're asking for unrealistic expectations of her. That's not who she is, dude. Let her go. There are women out there who will be happy to fill that role. Why waste your time on someone who slightly resembles a very snippet of what you are looking for? Fuck that. You can get the whole real deal. Yeah, she might be beautiful, and that's probably why you're attracted to her. But there's a lot of beautiful women out there. Forget that. Move on. That's just my philosophy, because I'm not going to waste my time on a person who don't measure up. They may have certain things, not that they have to be perfect and have everything, but come on, she can do better than that. You deserve better than that. That's just my take on it. Get you someone who is comfortable in their identity as a dominant woman. Now, this is the thing. I hope you can answer this. Well, how does that go? Submissive daddy. I never heard of such thing. Submissive daddy. Submissive man, yes, but a daddy? I don't know. I guess you're her daddy in the sense that you're willing to be her pay pig and take care of her and submit to her in that way. Interesting. I never looked at it like that. That's the thing about BDSM, man. It's very dynamic. This lifestyle can be kind of complicated, but if you take the time to really understand, try to understand and grasp, the concept of the different kinds of relationships that are possible, it's amazing, man. Submissive daddy. I mean, I guess being a daddy is a form of submission, especially if you're attending to what her needs are as a baby girl. Speaking of baby girl, I identify myself as a baby girl, and people ask me all the time, why are you single? I get annoyed sometimes by that. Why are you single? You're 35. You're so beautiful. As if like looks is everything, right? You're so beautiful. You're a smart woman. You're intelligent. You should not be single. And I'm just like, thank you, but I don't know if that's really a compliment, because it's frustrating, like knowing who I am and what I desire in a relationship is difficult, because this is a very alternative way of being. BDSM, this whole world of dominant submission, baby girl, daddy, and all of those labels and roles that we fit ourselves in, it's different. It's alternative. It's the minority. The majority of people aren't like this. They don't want to have anything to do with that kind of lifestyle, so it's a very unique way of being. And when I'm pretty honest, like in my experience with dating, and I talk to different guys, of course, and I've told them about my interests, in the lifestyle and what I like. And I feel like I wanted it kind of fall in place. Like it would be beautiful. Maybe I'm thinking just magically, right? But I just feel like there's nothing that's impossible. So it would be nice to be able to come across a guy, I don't know, maybe online or even in person, maybe, or that might be better in person, who is like made for me, right? Like they say, there's somebody out there for everyone. You don't have to go and try to mold someone to become something that you want them to be, like what you're trying to do, the guy here. But it's something special when two people can, like the universe kind of brings two people together and they are made for each other. It's almost like you don't even have to say what it is you need as much, and vice versa, because your worlds are meant for each other. The universe purposely brought you guys together because the universe knew what you need, what she needs, or whoever needs. It can be two men, two women, or whatever, right? And I think that's what I want, because it's so difficult. Like I've kind of explained this desire that I have, to be dominated, and be told what to do. And I kind of like put it in very simplistic language that people can understand. And yet they don't get it, because our society has gone so far away from the traditional sense of what a man is supposed to look like. A dominant man, right? And I say this, and it's very frustrating when I say this. Like, I desire a dominant man, and men reply, what does that mean? I'm like, seriously? The sad thing is that a lot of men interpret that as being sexually dominant. Just like, dude, that's so shallow. I immediately get turned off when men go to sex. Like, seriously. And I'm a sexual being. There's nothing wrong with sex, but dude, if that's the first thing you think about, it shows me how shallow of a person that you are. Like for me, I have to connect intellectually with a person. That's what turns me on. We can have good, deep-seated conversations, you know. And it's not to say that's impossible, that I haven't experienced it. I have actually recently. And I talked to you guys about, you know, my experience in dating an engineer versus dating a physician, right? By the way, I had to cut both of them off, man. It's just, I'm a very complicated person. I admit that, right? And it's funny because the engineer guy, he was just like, you got issues. Hey, I never said I didn't have issues. At least I'm aware of my issues, right? I never denied it, you know? And that's the thing. Like, I need a man who recognizes, like, hey, don't even see my needs as issues, so to speak, but just see it as something different, right? Like, I just have a different way of wanting to be loved. We all do, you know? May not agree with who you are, and that's fine. That's the reason why we're just dating. You know, we're not with each other. We're just dating and exploring and getting to know each other. And if you feel like this is not you, we're not compatible, good. I had to let him know, like, I don't think we're compatible because, granted, he is a dominant man, the engineer guy. He's from New York. Dominant. We vibe. He's smart. You know, he got, like, all of that down pat. But there's one thing here. Like, there's one dynamic of what specifically does that mean? What does it look like in terms of being a dominant man in relation to me? He's missing. And I don't think he's patient enough to try to understand. You know, because yes, a person can be who you desire them to be, right? But there may be certain nuances of behaviors or things you may want them to do that they're not doing, right? Like here in this message that I just read you guys, like the guy's asking for her to send selfies, for example. That's something that a person can do. That's something that can change easily, right? You know, that's not much to ask for. You know, it's one thing when you're trying to change an entire person into becoming who you want them to be versus just asking for something different that they do, right? They're doing or not doing that, just to change that. And for me, I think maybe what I'm asking for might just be too much. I think that's what it is. So people ask me why are you single? It's because I'm a complicated person, and I think what I need is just too much, like, to ask for. Not that it doesn't exist, because I've come across men who are very much well capable of being that dominant daddy. And get your minds out the gutter, because I know the first thing people think about when they hear daddy is sex. No. But I do, yeah. Certain things, because I have guys ask me this, like, oh, what do you look for in a man? And I even get turned off by that. I'm just like, I just need you to be, right? Because I think they're trying to become the man that I look for. And I just like, that's faking it. I want you to be yourself. If you have to become the man that I'm looking for, eventually you're going to change back to who you are naturally, you know? The person that you were before you met me. You're only going to be doing that to put on this show, to impress me during the honeymoon phase. That's not what I want. I need consistency, man. That's really important. I don't need you acting one way this way and then a different day you act. No, I need consistency all the way throughout. I need structure. When I say the dominant man knows how to set the rules in a relationship. Of course, with the consent of the woman. And this is the issue. And not necessarily use it for only his benefit, but for the benefit of the relationship. Because that's where it gets tricky. Because you got some men, the physician guy that I talked to you guys about the other day, the Nigerian guy, very smart. But he turned me off very easily when he tried to use the whole idea about setting the rules in a relationship. He tried to use it for his benefit, right? He's just like, oh, well, there are no limits. The rule is there are no limits, you know, in terms of time limits in a relationship when it comes to having sex. I'm like, dude, we're just getting to know each other. I'm not about to fucking have sex with you. He expected me to have sex with him, like, on the first day. I'm like, I cut him off, and I'm just like, this ain't gonna work. I'm not interested anymore, right? And he was just like, oh, we're meant for each other. This is just, you know, a bump in the road. We'll get past this. This will pass. I'm done. Like, I'm too old. That's just the thing. People don't understand. A woman, when a woman is a certain age, she don't have time for that. You know, like, she is at a point where you're just too old. Too old for the nonsense. You just don't have time for it. Don't have time for it. So, I don't like to explain. Like, if I already communicated something to a person, like, that's just it. I don't like to have to repeat myself and to continue to explain and just go in the motions and back and forth. Like, dude, I already said it. I said it and that's it. We're done. You know? I get annoyed by that. But along those lines, like with what the physician guy, he's just like, he made the mistake. Like, dude, you fucked up. When you fuck something up, it's done. Like, you already messed it up. It's no second, third, fourth time. Like, you already showed yourself to me. You know, that you will try to use something to your advantage. Then we're done. Motherfuckers just want to make an appearance in my video, Lord. I can't, y'all. I can't. But, yeah, it's just like, yeah, I can tolerate certain things, but things like that, that's just inappropriate. It's totally inappropriate. It's disrespectful. And he should have known better. Like, trying to use, oh, I'm going to set the rules in a relationship, and the rule is there are no time limits, and just so you can have sex. I'm like, nah, man, that's just wrong. All the way wrong. But things like that, that's just an example. Like, I come across many different guys, and you know, I try to communicate what it is, and it's like some they get it, but they don't get it, you know. And for me, I know when a guy gets it, and like I say, maybe I'm just asking for something that's just too much. But like I said, I need structure in a relationship. Like, I need structure and consistency. Structure in a sense that I want a guy who does not mind setting the rules and the boundaries in the relationship. Like, he's like, okay, we're going to do this. We can make decisions together, but I like for a guy to be able to be confident, to be able to make decisions in a relationship. That's just me. I'm okay with that. As long as it's for the benefit of both of us, you know? Like, it's not a decision that's going to fuck me up, you know? But it's coming from a place of love and concern and care and consideration. Like, yeah, handle that shit, because I make a lot of decisions. We all do, of course, but you know, I have a lot on my plate. You know, I'm training to become a doctor full time, seeing patients, you know, like working on a dissertation, have my own businesses and brands that I'm building. I have enough responsibility. So of course, like, it would be nice to just have a guy who can just be a man, and I can just be this easy, cute little princess of his. Like, that would just be so beautiful and easy to manage, right? So I get definitely what this guy is saying, the guy who's asking for submissive daddy advice. It's like, I get it wholeheartedly, completely. But you guys feel free to continue discussion below. Let me know what you think. I mean, I do have hope. I believe that there are a lot of successful relationships out there within the BDSM world. I've seen it. I have colleagues who practice a lifestyle. Like, I've been exposed to it, so I know people who are actively involved in it, and it works for them, and it's great. And I just think that it's difficult, you know, but once you have it and once you're with someone, then it's magical and it lasts forever. And that's what I'm working towards, and that's what I'm looking forward to happening. That's why I know somebody is for me, because it's just the little things that matter. And if you can't take the time to at least try to figure out what it is that I need and try to meet those needs, and you're considerate, when you do that, that shows to me that you care, that we're for each other, we're meant for each other. But when, you know, you just act very dismissive and just like, oh, I don't got time for that, you're crazy, you got it, I'm just like, fine, we're not for each other. It's as simple as that. I'm gonna go ahead and end this video. Sorry for the interruption. I usually don't have interruptions, but that's my neighbor, you guys. It's just the nature of the beast. But I'll catch you guys later. I want to hear what you guys think. Feel free to share your comments below. Share this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.